Stop using only managed WAF rules on your Azure Application Gateway right now, because I just helped a company prevent a data breach that their managed rules completely missed, and it took us exactly 4 minutes to fix.
Okay, that's terrifying. Welcome back to the Network Ninja Cloudcast, everyone. I'm super curious about this one because I just deployed my first application gateway with WAF, and I literally just enabled the default rules and called it a day.
And that's exactly what 90% of people do, which is why we need to talk about this today. So here's the thing. Azure Application Gateway WAF gives you two types of rule sets, managed and custom, and understanding when to use each one is the difference between actual protection and security theater.
Okay, so what's the actual difference? I assumed managed rules just handled everything automatically.
Great question. Think of managed rules like a security guard at a building entrance who has a standard checklist. They check for known threats, common attack patterns, things like SQL injection, cross-site scripting, the OWASP top 10 vulnerabilities. Azure provides these through the Microsoft default rule set, known as DRS, with versions like 1.0, 1.1, 2.0, and the current 2.1. DRS 2.1 is actually based on OWASP CRS 3.2 with additional Microsoft-specific protections. You can also choose the older OWASP core rule set versions 3.0, 3.1, or 3.2 directly, though Microsoft recommends DRS for most scenarios. And there's also Bot Manager rule sets for detecting and blocking malicious bots.
That sounds pretty comprehensive though. What's the problem?
The problem is that Security Guard doesn't know your building. They don't know that your application has a specific API endpoint at API/v2/upload that accepts base 64 encoded data, which might look suspicious to generic rules. They don't know that your legitimate users in Brazil need access, but you've been getting attacked from a specific IP range in Eastern Europe.
Oh, so managed rules are generic and custom rules are specific to my application?
Exactly right. Let me give you the technical breakdown. Managed rules in Azure WAF operate on predefined signatures. When you enable the DRS 2.1 rule set, you're getting a few hundred individual rules organized into rule groups like Request 920 Protocol Enforcement and Request 942 Application Attack (SQLI). The exact count varies by version. DRS includes more rules than the base OWASP CRS because Microsoft adds their own protections. These rules inspect HTTP headers, request bodies, URI parameters, and cookies against known attack patterns.
A few hundred rules sounds like a lot. How do I even know what they're doing?
In the Azure portal, you'll want to work with WAF policies, which is the recommended approach over the legacy WAF configuration. WAF policies are separate Azure resources that you associate with your application gateway, and they give you more flexibility, including per site and per URI policy options. Navigate to your WAF policy, then Managed Rules, and you'll see every rule group and individual rule with its ID. For example, Rule 942,100 in the CRS3. X family detects SQL injection attempts using lib injection, though keep in mind exact rule IDs and descriptions can vary slightly between versions. But here's the critical part. These rules operate in either detection or prevention mode, and I see people leave it in detection mode thinking they're protected.
Wait, detection mode doesn't actually block anything?
Correct. Detection mode only logs potential attacks to your diagnostic logs. You need prevention mode to actually block malicious requests. But here's where it gets tricky. If you flip to prevention mode with all default rules enabled, you might start blocking legitimate traffic.
So that's where custom rules come in?
Partially, yes. Custom rules let you create your own conditions, and they're evaluated before managed rules based on priority number. Lower priority numbers execute first. But I need to clarify something important here. The evaluation behavior depends on the action type. When a custom rule matches with an allow action, it stops further custom rule processing and lets the request proceed, but managed rules may still evaluate that request depending on your configuration. It's not a complete bypass of everything.
Can you give me a real example of a custom rule I might need?
Absolutely. Let's say you're running an e-commerce site and your payment processor sends webhook callbacks from specific public IP addresses. You'd create a custom rule with match type IP match, match variable remote ADR, operator IP match, and specify their public IP ranges. Action would be allow. Priority set to 5. Now those legitimate callbacks won't get blocked by your custom rules.
What about allowing internal corporate traffic?
Good question, and this is where people get tripped up. The remote ADR variable sees the source IP of incoming connections. For a public-facing application gateway, that's going to be public IPs from the internet. If you want to allow traffic from internal corporate networks using private IP ranges like 10.0.0.0 out of 8, you'd need an internal application gateway deployment, Or you'd inspect the X forwarded for header if traffic is coming through a proxy. Don't create a rule matching private IPs on a public WAF expecting it to catch corporate traffic. It won't work that way.
What about blocking specific threats? Like if I'm getting attacked from certain countries?
That's another perfect use case. Custom rules support geofiltering. You can create a rule with match variable remote ADR, operator geomatch, and specify country codes. If you're a US-only business getting hammered from a botnet, you can block entire regions. But be careful, legitimate users using VPNs might get caught.
What's the biggest mistake you see people make with waf-rules?
Two things. First, enabling all managed rules in prevention mode without testing. You need to run in detection mode first, analyze your logs in log analytics, query the Azure Diagnostics table, filter where resource type equals application gateways, that's typically uppercase, and importantly filter on category equals application gateway firewall log to get the WAF-specific events. Identify your false positives from there. Second mistake is creating overly broad custom allow rules that essentially bypass your WAF entirely.
So let me make sure I understand this. Managed rules are my baseline protection against known attacks. They're maintained by Microsoft through DRS or the OWASP CRS options. Custom rules are my application-specific logic, things like IP allowless, geo-blocking, and rate limiting. Custom rules evaluate first by priority, but the full picture depends on action types and how they interact with managed rules.
Perfect summary. And here's my pro tip. Use rule exclusions instead of disabling entire rule groups. If a specific rule keeps flagging your legitimate search parameter, you can exclude just that specific parameter from that specific rule in the managed rule configuration, rather than disabling SQL injection protection entirely. And remember to use WAF policies rather than the legacy WAF configuration. It gives you much more flexibility for complex deployments.
That's really helpful. So my action item is to actually review my WAF logs before switching to prevention mode.
Exactly. Set up a WAF policy if you haven't already, enable logging to a log analytics workspace, run in detection mode for at least a week with production traffic, then tune your rules based on real data.
This makes so much more sense now. Thanks for breaking that down.
That's it for today's episode. If you found this helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel.
And share this with anyone deploying application gateways. This could save them from a production outage.
Thanks for watching the Network Ninja Cloudcast. See you in the next one.